Hi Cycle Breakers, and welcome to Healing with Jasenia, a platform where I provide small lessons, tools, resources, and exercise to help you on your journey to finding yourself. You see, the holidays can bring up a lot of emotional triggers because there's so many demands. If you think about it, there's demand on our time, our money, our energy, and let's not forget the old behavior patterns that come up in family dynamics that we see and experience when we are together. We're going to talk about emotional triggers, what they are, and why do we experience them, especially in the holidays. Family gathering can be beautiful and it can be a moment of connection, but at the same time, it can also be heavy. For many of us, we even explore and experience grief. So first, let's define what an emotional trigger is. An emotional trigger is a moment that it touches an old wound. It comes from the past, many times from our childhood. When something small in the present wakes up that feeling from the past, it can be very simple. It could be a color, a smell, a person, a situation that looks very similar from the past. Your body, your nervous system, your brain, your subconscious mind, where your younger self lives in, completely awakens. And it reacts as if we were to be in the past. So you might feel tight chest, you might feel racing thoughts, you might feel big emotions, or you might feel like completely numb. I just want to share this because a lot of times when this happens, people think it's a form of weakness because it's happening and they don't know what to do and they don't respond to it. And they feel like this is be something that I should not be feeling. But I want you to see emotional triggers, not so much of a weakness, but more of a messenger. There is something from the past that is still living inside of us that needs some healing. And I also want you to remember that when we feel emotional triggers, our adult self are not the ones managing the emotional triggers. What actually happens is that the brain, the nervous system, the subconscious mind where your younger self lives in is the one that awakens. And so we end up managing that emotional trigger the way that we used to manage it in the past, which for many of us is not the most healthiest way because we were so young and we didn't have the tools to take care of ourselves. So when emotional triggers happen, instead of immediately jumping into, oh my God, why am I dealing with this? I'm so weak, I can't, why did I say that? Why did I not say this? Be compassionate to yourself because your present self, your adult self, is not the one dealing with that or processing it unless you're doing the work and you have the awareness. It's actually the past, the nervous system, the brain, the younger you, and they're just trying to protect you as much as they can. What part of you is asking to be seen and not fixed? During the holidays, for me, it reminds my nervous system and my younger that staying perfect once felt like the safest way to belong and to keep the peace. And all of the expectations of the holiday gathering awakens that. Now that you know what emotional triggers look like, emotionally and physically, and you notice that it happens more throughout the holidays, I want you to take a moment of pause and I want you to start noticing what emotional triggers show up. Remember, it doesn't mean that you hate the holidays. Both can coexist. You can have an amazing time throughout the holidays, but there's also triggers that come up. Pay attention to that. What comes up? What do you feel in your body? What emotions come up? What are the thoughts? What are you saying to yourself? This is the way that we start taking care of our emotional triggers. They are not part of our personality. They're a message that comes up, that there's a part of us that needs some healing. So take a moment, pause this video if you need to, take out your journal, and start asking yourself, what is the emotional trigger that comes up for me in the holidays? How does it feel? What is it saying to me? What's the physical sensation that I feel? And most important, what part of you is asking to be seen and not fixed? The expectations of the family and what they expect from you, that all piles up, and the nervous system can go into overwhelm. These are all survival patterns that are being activated. And this is the reason why it's so important to take care of yourself during the holiday, because all of these emotional triggers from the past can awaken. And if we're not aware of it and we're not taking care of it, we will respond like we used to respond in the past. So how do we manage this? Here are a few things you can do to manage emotional triggers during the holidays. Step number 1, notice the trigger without judging it. Just pause and gently name what's coming up. Stop judging yourself for how you're responding or what's happening, but be more compassionate about what's coming up for you and be gentle with yourself. 2, take a deep breath. Give yourself what you need in the moment. Maybe you need to step away. Maybe you need to take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe you need a glass of water. And remind yourself that you're safe right now, that you're not in the space that we were in the past that created this emotional trigger. Step 3, speak to the part of you that is awakening. There's a part of you that is very afraid, that is anxious, that is feeling this feeling as if we were in the past. Take the moment to validate how it feels and reassure it that we're in the present moment. We have choices now. So for example, when I feel overwhelmed with the gatherings and the getting together and the expectations of having everything perfect, and I start, that part of me, perfectionist, awakens, immediately I pay attention to it and I say, hey, we no longer have to prove our worthy based on how perfect we do things. We now have a say. We now can control situations differently. We don't have to be perfect to feel that we're doing it right or that we're getting other people's approval. That's how simple it can be. So I'm going to give you 3 prompts that you can do every day. Start this week, 1 prompt per day. And for those of you who love to write in your journals, this is a great practice to do before the events happen. First one is, let's talk about the emotional trigger. Identify what's the emotional trigger. What comes up when you feel a certain way or when you are in situations with people, places, time. Pay attention to what comes up for you. Emotionally, mentally, physically, and write it down. What's my emotional trigger? Then when we're able to identify it and write about it, then what does it remind you of? And write exactly what you experience. Where does it take you? Where do you go? 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Where does it take you? You might ask yourself before doing this practice, think about the feelings, the physical sensations, and the negative thoughts that you feel when you have this emotional trigger, and then allow your mind to go back in time where you felt the same way. You'll be surprised, but the brain will connect the dots and take you to that time. The third is reparenting yourself, giving that part of you, that younger you, giving them what they needed at the moment instead of judging it. So that's the part where you validate the experience, give yourself reassurance. We're not there in that space. We're adults now. We have more control. We know how to say no. We know how to set boundaries. We can walk away. Remind yourself all the work that you've done and where you're at today. Remember, emotional triggers do not define who you are. Emotional triggers do not need to take control of the situation in the holidays. Emotional triggers are messengers that tell us there's a part of us that we need to work on, that we need to heal. If we see it that way, then we won't be as judgmental. We won't be as angry. We'll learn how to have self-compassion, and we'll learn how to take care of ourselves. where it no longer defines us or take over our joy. I wish you a happy holidays and a happy new year. We'll see each other again in 2026.